Welcome to Real MVPs, the channel featuring ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Let's check out this week's Real MVP. At this point in my presentation, I'll share my credit story with you. I went from the lowest FICO score of 300 to the highest FICO score of 850. When I finished with school, I had accumulated a lot of credit card debt from auto repairs, and my school loans were due. I couldn't get employment in my major and took the first job I could get, which didn't pay much. I had been working part-time and going to school full-time, and I was burnt out. So when I got these letters threatening to garnish my wages, I decided to, instead of taking classes to defer my loan payments, I'll just let my credit card debt go into default, which sent my FICO score to the bottom. I just paid cash or did without and concentrated on paying the school loans. Over time, I paid off the school loans. I got me some department store cards to purchase appliances, furniture, and clothes. I then got me a low credit line secured credit card from a bank and used those. I got an offer for my first unsecured credit card from Capital One to transfer debt at a lower rate than the department stores. It wasn't 0%, but it was significantly lower. I had to pay an annual fee, but it got me back in the credit card game. Over time, they increased my credit line. I guess my credit score was going up because I got an offer from another bank for a new card. It didn't have a balance transfer offer, but I used it for car repairs. I got another offer from a different bank, and I used that for airline tickets when I wanted to take a trip. I wasn't paying 3 to 4 times the minimum payment, but I was always paid on time and stayed current and always below my credit limit, which I didn't realize at the time, but that was helping drive my credit score back up. I read about a filmmaker who financed a low-budget film with credit cards, and that sounded pretty good to me. At the time, my credit lines weren't that high, so I started accumulating what are known in the game as affinity credit cards. I looked upon it as a game that the banks use to keep you loyal to them by appealing to your entrance. Around the same time, my place of employment joined a credit union, and they had their own auto and home loans at great rates. So I opened a savings and checking account and a loan account for overdraft protection. I also financed me a new car, which of course sent my credit score even higher. Every time I would activate one of those affinity credit cards or those corporate credit cards such as Yahoo, E-Trade, the Rolling Stones, Lakers, Star Trek, what they would do is they would send me the balance transfer offers, either 0% for 12 months or 1.99% for 18 months, with fees ranging between 3 to 5%. And they would add the fee with the balance when you first did the balance transfer. And of course, I discovered the smartest thing to do would to go ahead and make sure that I would balance transfer to another card in 11 months so I wouldn't get a fee if I waited till 12 months. And so that's what I would do. I would just go ahead and just balance transfer it. I would only use the card once, even though that Lakers card was really neat, and I got that card at a Lakers parade. They gave it to me. In order to get that, they had a towel they was giving away, a Lakers towel they were giving away. In order for me to get that Lakers towel, I had to sign up for that Lakers card. And the Lakers card looked real neat, and it was cool to pull it out, and people looked at it, and they would think you was with the Lakers. But I only used it one time, because when the balance got up there, I would immediately balance transfer it. I never used the Yahoo or the Rolling Stones. Or even, I got the Star Trek at the Hilton Hotel. They had this Star Trek experience in Vegas, and if you can get your picture taken with one of their displays, if you sign up for the credit card. So that's how I got that. And Yahoo looked neat, and E-Trade. I got an E-Trade account, so I got E-Trade, and then First USA Bank. They have their affinity credit cards. They're colorful, look cool, and of course you got your corporate card, Wells Fargo bank cards, and so on and so forth. And like I said, I would just use those cards only for balance transfer purposes only. I would use them just that one time, and I would never close them. I would just always keep them open, and if I needed one, I had them. Those are examples right there, as you can see. They look pretty cool. But don't get fooled. Don't get hung up on those cards, because it's a game that the banks are using, because they know that, hey, this is a Laker fan. He's going to keep using it. And even if the interest rate goes sky high, some people will probably use it and keep using it. To make a long story short, I'd paid that car off, and about a couple of years after that, my employer went through some changes. I lost my job. In order to save some money, I canceled the collision part of my car insurance. And of course, not too long after that, I totaled the car out. And I was back to using used cars, which meant a lot of costly repairs. And I was constantly balancing, transferring the debt. I got a job at Bank of America. And in 2007, I decided to buy me a new car. And that's when I discovered I had a 760 credit score. I shared that information with a nephew who had a girlfriend who was in the mortgage business. They wanted me to buy this $2.4 million house with no money down, because, as you know, they were giving anybody a house. You didn't have to prove proof of income or anything in them days. And I said, "Are you guys crazy?" They said, "We'll go ahead and rent it out for you." I wasn't hearing that. And in fact, I predicted that the whole mortgage game was going to crash, because those houses just couldn't keep going up higher and higher and higher. And sure enough, in 2008, what happened? The housing market collapsed. In 2009, I guess my credit score was now 850, because I had been paying my credit cards and my new car note. I got an application for the black card. I had been hearing about that black card. I heard you can buy anything with just your signature alone. And I was surprised that I got one, because I thought it was for wealthy people only. They had a $1,000 annual fee on that black card. So, of course, I wasn't going to be activating that black card. But it was nice to know that I at least had an application for that, and that my credit score must have been pretty high. Last year, Chase, who originally had my car note, but they wouldn't give me a better rate, so I transferred it to my credit union, who gave me a better rate. Chase sent me a balance transfer offer for a fee of 1%. I just happened to have a balance that I was getting ready to transfer it was $3,500, and I said, okay, that means I can now go ahead and use this credit balance here and pay this off, and it's only going to cost me $35 for the year. So that's where I am at right now. I got a credit card that is only costing me $35 for the whole year for that balance. And that is how you play the balance transfer game. Get as many credit cards as you can and just balance transfer every 11 months to one of those cards. If you're going to do some balance transfer, and there are a few warnings I'd like to go over with you, make sure you read all the fine print, because you might end up paying more in the long run. Be aware you can only transfer to the limit of your card, because you never want to max out a card, balance transfer to more than one card. Don't try and balance transfer loans. You might get penalized for early payoff. Don't get a 30-day late, because what it is, you're going to lose the balance transfer and they're going to give you that high finance charge. If you do get a 30-day, by the way, there is one way you can get that removed off your credit report. And that is if you haven't received a statement. You can always call and have them remove the 30-day off of your credit report and remove that late fee if you haven't received a statement. Now, if you elected to only receive statements online, then you can't use that because they have that noted on your account that you requested online statements only. I personally make sure that I get all statements for every bill that I have because I'm forgetful. There is more to follow, so hit us back